everyone. Welcome to Spreading Smith with Brian, a show that goes over any kind of topic that isn't veteran or first responder related, just to have fun and bring people on from all walks of life. The first one is going to be Noah Schmidt. I go to school with him for BCIT's Radio Arts and Entertainment program. And we're just going to kind of have some fun here and see what we can do with it. So, Noah, just give everyone just a little bit about yourself.
So yeah, as Brian said, I'm Noah Schmidt. I'm, I guess now going into the second year of the BCIT Radio Arts and Entertainment program. I've lived in Langley, BC most of my life, so kind of a little off the beaten path. But it's quiet, it's humble, and it's still close to everything, so that's a plus. I've always been interested in media and specifically like radio, and I like to speak, I like to present and stuff like that. So a few years ago, after a few years of being out of high school, I found this program and decided to give it a whirl. And so far, it's paid off pretty well because I've enjoyed it a lot so far. And we're just gearing up now to get back in the fall. And what is it, like a month and a month and a half?
A bit, yeah,
something like that.
Start of September sometime.
Exactly. Yep. So. Yeah, I'm super excited to get back into it and do this kind of stuff again on a regular basis, Yeah,
I've had an interview with the other show and stuff like that, and just trying to find people. And I've got a couple other ones that are going to come on and stuff. And it's just a fun little way to keep kind of going. Like before the program, like I did nothing with online social media, anything like that.
Me neither, yeah.
And finding video editing has just been so much fun to do. I love that. Like Dan opening that up and being like, oh man, this is so much fun to learn. Has just been the best. And then I just bought a new Canon camera. So I'm going to go to the Abbotsford Air Show and get some footage and have some fun. So I got the Saturday ticket. And I can't.
Is that
August?
What day?
I think 7th, 8th, 9th, I believe.
Oh, I used to love the Abbotsford Air Show. I forgot about that. Oh, maybe I'll go this year.
Yeah, you should. I'll be there for Saturday. So
cool.
Saturday we'll meet up.
Yeah,
I got the camera and stuff like that, and I've got a whole bunch of gear. And I want to go hang out, and then just
awesome
edit all that footage and have fun with that. Keep pushing the program. So
exactly.
That's the goal of that. And it's going to be fun. I mean, the next term's going to be an interesting one. A lot to it, doing classes and doing the media lab and stuff. So that'll be fun. But
at least it's not like, a lot of the other people I know are doing like these it's like they're doing engineering and sciences, and one of the guys going in to be an actuary, like actuarial sciences at SFU. It's like I think it's like doing people's taxes. And that just like, at least with this, we've got like a creative outlet, that kind of stuff. I'm just glad we don't rely on like every single course having a massive textbook, That is a part of the university experience I'm totally fine missing out on. This is more my speed.
No, exactly, right? Like be in the library or sometimes just anywhere, right? You find a spot just to study for some of our midterms or tests and stuff and finals. And again, there's a lot to some of those classes and the courses and stuff like that for the knowledge. But when I hear some of the kids with like their engineering math or some of those other ones and like stuff like that, I just kind of give myself a deep breath in and be like, it could be worse.
It really could.
It could be worse.
Yep. I thank God every day for radio arts and entertainment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only thing too, we were talking before going live was just the fact of like, the only hard part is getting the interviews with people during certain deadlines, right?
Oh yeah. No.
Lining up stuff like that and then people canceling. That's the only hard thing I would say is where you have to deal with like an outside person in their timeline where
it's
otherwise
awful.
For the most part, it's you getting the film equipment, you doing all the projects and stuff like that yourself. It's on all your stuff like that. And then, when you're on air doing any of the stuff like that, again, it's you on your own. So did you put in the work and effort? And cool. You did. All right. It's going to be easier than as opposed to you doing everything last minute. And, I think there's a few people who love to be last minute and thought that was inspirational. And I think, when we see him September after practicum, the first one, I think there's going to be a major no, fuck, I start right away, very early. Yeah. I don't do anything last minute.
I don't know how people do that kind of thing. Like I wouldn't say I'm perfect with my timing, but I don't think I procrastinate, because I don't know. I've always had it's the way you grow up too. Like I wasn't drilled into, like you must get A's, but it's like there's a little bit of pressure, and I think that's beneficial when it's that middle ground when you're a kid growing up. Because now I'm like, yep, I'm in school, it's expensive. Like, what else am I here to do other than, do the assignments the best I can? I don't get how you could, again, like we were talking before we went live, like it's 4 grand a semester. That's a lot of money. Like you could buy a maybe not great, but a decent used car for that. And that's just one semester. So I don't know. For me, even that, just the financial incentive to do well is like, yeah, yep, I have to. I've sunk this much into it, this much time and money. So like, what's why would I procrastinate? Why would I put things off? You know?
Yeah. And I mean, but this is also a different course than others. Like, when I first got injured last year and I had to kind of drop out of the program and then get back into it, during my downtime, even though I couldn't use my right arm and my first early videos, the editing is horrible. And I always feel bad for the people I interviewed. Like, oh my God, like I was in so much pain. Like I couldn't barely use my right arm, couldn't even like use my right hand. It was all numb and it was all just jacked up with the nerves. And then, but again, I still was like, what, I have these skills. I want to keep going. It gives me some inspiration to, reach out to people and do stuff. And it's fun, right? Like right away, we're building our portfolio for future jobs and stuff like that by practicing what we're doing and stuff like that. And, I hope more people with the program and stuff did stuff over the summer, whether it was, photography, taking videos, whatever like that, or starting their own podcast show. Cause I mean, yeah, like, until an accountant gets certified, you're not doing anything with that skill, right? You're not getting out there, you're not building anything, same with engineers and all those mechanics and stuff like that. Like before they actually get to do anything and have fun, where who knows, like with me and you doing this kind of weird stuff and, you branch off and do your little thing as well and stuff, like you never know who's going to watch it, where it can go. Exactly. And all of a sudden, then before we even graduate, there's companies or people looking, going, hey, when you're done, all right, when you're done, let me know because can use you over here and stuff. We like what you do.
Well, stuff like this too. It's like in a program like ours, like in the industry, even like locally, there's not a massive demand for people in like radio and a lot of these industries right now. It's just the way things are going. So it's really what you can do to set yourself apart. Like this kind of thing. It's the extracurricular stuff. What makes you different than everyone else, all the rest of the 20 other people in the program, And that's, I think, like, that's what, even like I talk to my dad about that all the time. Like, yeah, you're going to want to do something that makes you the most desirable one. Otherwise, it's like, well, yeah, why would they choose me over someone like you doing a podcast? Like, there's no reason unless I'm the like a Walter Cronkite, like the best, like once in a generation, which I'm not. So yeah, no, it's important to keep yourself on your feet too and stuff, and keep the skills that you learn fresh in your mind. Otherwise, yeah, you like. I feel like there's probably going to be some people in the fall that completely, and you have to kind of start from scratch a little bit because it gets complicated. Like a lot of video editing and stuff like that. Even like for me, I'm not a computer guy. I didn't know how to really even like use a computer before this program started. And now it's like my brain has been flooded with a lot of information. So, it's best to keep practicing it while I'm off because I'm gonna lose it like all. If I don't use the computer, if I don't edit stuff, it's gone. It's gone. It's never coming back.
Well, exactly. And I mean, the main difference for me from you guys is about 20 something years, depending on the student in the class. Like, I don't, in my mind, I don't really have that same kind of gap of you guys have for a couple of years as you find yourself and okay, hey, I like this. Like, I'm in my 40s. Like, I can't just have those. Yeah. I'm going to discover myself in this industry. Like, I got to kind of have a little bit of a path going. And I mean, there's nothing better for me than like just honoring veterans and first responders and the organizations and stuff like that. So that was easy to start that one. And this one is just to have fun and just give me stuff to video edit because it's just become a real fun passion. Like, yeah, again, like you, when I was in high school, we had video editing, but it was with cassette tapes, right? So very different than doing digital editing like now, right? And it was just for one half or a term or whatever like that too, right? So it wasn't even a lot of experience within it. But yeah, like it's fun being able to create and stuff with doing weird little things with simple, little effects, and how crazy it can make, just a simple little footage that you've taken. Then all of a sudden you can just make that either actiony and stuff. And yeah, it's quite the experience.
Oh, I feel like I should have said something there.
Well, that's the thing with Zoom too, right?
I was trying to see,
there's always little delays.
I'm like trying to see, like, am I looking into the camera or am I looking at your face? Again, I'm not a tech guy. Am I? Do I look into the computer?
I have a separate camera than from the laptop. A separate one.
Okay.
So I have it cut right straight in front of me, and it actually kind of is in front of your face. So as I'm looking at you, it's just kind of above. So your eyes are a little blocked out, but otherwise I'm looking at you.
Okay. My computer, I'm balancing it on top of a suitcase right now. Like, is everything, this is like the cleanest background I have. It's not even that good, but it's like, and it's like my desk is on the other side of the place. So this is, it's my makeshift setup. So I'm going to look into the camera and,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think that's the best.
You don't have to really acknowledge me.
I will try. Camera. I will try. I'll acknowledge you. Yeah. But I think that should be good.
Oh, these headphones. Yeah. What was a class that you thought was kind of like one of your hardest ones, where you were just sitting there going, "Oh God"? Probably
I think our was it organizational behavior class. Like, because I've done business classes before. Because I'm almost done, but I've been doing a public relations certificate online at UFV. But like, it's pretty casual. It's online, and it's nothing much. So getting thrust into that course to me felt like more of what I would think the traditional university experience feels like, because we had like a textbook, and it was an awful, like, just drivelly mess of terms and different definitions that are all sound the same, And like, when we were doing our exams, or like our midterm and the exam, I studied and I remembered all of the formulas and all of the different, like, they're like the hierarchies of power, all this weird stuff. And then on the test, it was like none of that. Like, I focused on the names of everything instead of what they meant. And in hindsight, awful lot. Yeah, I didn't fail anything in that class, but some of them I came kind of close to, not doing so well. And that's just because, I assumed for something like this, like a traditional kind of business type class, I'm like, okay, I got to remember what everything's named. I got to remember like all this stuff. And I remember one of the questions on one of the exams was like, what are emotions? I'm like, I don't know. Like, that must have been somewhere in the textbook, but I was too busy remembering what the dark triad was and all this weird stuff that will never be useful to me. So that was by far the most difficult thing. And because it was such a completely different situation than all the other courses, and it was not the most creative thing. So I wouldn't want to do that course again. I know we're going to have to do courses like that again, but organizational behavior, not my favorite, not my top choice.
Yeah, but the other big problem or difficulty with that one, it was the only one that was of that topic compared to everything else. So all the terms were different, and then what we were used to, right? So for me, it was like I read every chapter every week because I needed to.
I tried to do
that. And then for midterms and finals, like I reread the chapter, and then I'd go over the back of the book and use that little cheat thing there. Where's all the definitions? Where's all this? And get all that chapter summary stuff going, because otherwise, and I mean, my little red book that I have is full of every notes and things for every test. And before, I would write everything out in that book I thought would probably be on the test. And then, I'd be in the library or in the grand hall or wherever I could find a little spot, depending, because a lot of people would be having midterms that time. And again, listen to the people having really stressful ones with really difficult, trades, and then be like, all right, this isn't that book. All right, let's do into this. And then, study like a madman and stuff. And then listen to a cool song that jacked me up beforehand to get me just going, and be like, all right, let's go into this test, just knowing I'm going to knock it out. And for the most part, I did, except for the final, when we had so many other classes and projects and stuff. And it's like, one thing has to take a bit of a hit. All right, I'm still going to study for that one, but it's not going to be as in depth as like the midterm one. I did good on the midterm, but
I did, I think, decent.
I got a C plus on the final. But again, we had like
Me
4
too.
other big projects to do. You know, when you have
Yeah.
7 classes,
And that
you have
course to
to.
me, it oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, but I was going to say, like when you have 7 classes a term, you know, you really have
You
to
got to
sometimes
prioritize it.
go, okay, let's prioritize this, and I'm going to study, but I'm going to put 5 hours I'd put into this project because this one is worth so much more overall for that other class's marks that, you know, I'll take a hit on the midterm for it being, you know, 10 or 15%, and then, you know, put more on the project that's worth 35%.
No, exactly. That one felt to me like that course had already ended because like we did a final project, a big group project, and then we also did the final exam. So like I don't know, it felt to me like for that course, I'm like the final project's it. That's what it's all been leading towards. That's when we're putting our knowledge to the test. So yeah, I'm like I tried and I did study, but you know, again, like you said, that was my lowest priority. You know, it's not something I ever see myself really looking back on and using much of. Like I can't remember any of the formulas or anything that I remembered like 3 months out. Like I have no Dark Triad's the only name I remember just because it sounds stupid. That is the only one. I cannot remember a damn thing from that course. Teacher was great. Teacher was very nice. Arts and crafts day was fun when we did that for some reason. But, you know, most of it's just you got to have those few classes that are just the kind of drivelly, you know, business side of the industry. And I know some people were saying like, oh, we should talk to the teachers about getting this course removed from the program. I'm like, okay, well that's a little far to me. It's like you still like the basics you still need to know, you know, like business and stuff. But yeah, I remember people coming up to me because I was like the set rep, like the rep for the students in the program for our year, and they're like, "Can we get the teachers to stop using textbooks?" I'm like, "Okay, well we can't." Like, I see where you're coming from. I don't like them either, but like, we're not. It's not high school. We're not like children anymore. Like we're adults. I think we can. I'm pretty sure everyone in our program was literate, so it's a textbook. You're gonna have those kind of things, and you know, especially like you said too, like put yourself in someone else's shoes. We had it and still probably will have it pretty easy compared to like a nursing student. So I'm totally fine with a couple textbooks. It's not great, but you do what you got to do. You know, it's no one ever said this was going to be easy. So yeah, I just power through the pain.
Well, and I think for some people as well, it's a little bit of a lot of hand holding through
Yeah.
school that they've been used to. And now that's gone really, right? Like the teacher's there if you know, hours or if you send them an email or something like that, they'll help out and, you know, clarify anything or, you know, give you advice on, you know, if the program's acting weird. But I mean, you have to be a self-starter for everything, right? Like
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't like reading a textbook. I go physical textbook. I don't know. There's something, at least I have it. When you buy those digital copies, you lose it.
I'm a physical media person too. It doesn't matter what it is, but I have a whole thing of like DVDs here too. Yeah, I don't know. I like buying something and then actually like having something to show for it, you know, even if it is like a textbook. I did use an online textbook for organizational behavior, but it was like it opened on Canva every time, like the editing app on my phone and my computer. So it was like finicky, and I was moving around the text like by accident, like everything on the page I could move. And so like after I was done reading the textbook, everything was in the wrong place. I was like, nope, next year just buying the book. Nope, not doing that again.
Yeah. And I mean, you have it, right? Like there's always going to be certain knowledge or things that you look back, right? Like, you know, because I did marketing before you guys stuff. So I won't be doing that with you guys. So I bought that as a physical and I'm going to need to refresh in some of those parts when I do marketing to come fourth term. But yeah. And you know, again, I think some people will wake up to the fact of like when you have to do interviews, you can't do that last minute because other people's timelines, you know, in life matter, and they don't care if you get grades or not and stuff. But I mean, for some people, it's a shyness of talking to new people and breaking out and stuff like that. And I can get that too.
That I get, yeah. Because like not even in this program, like it's radio, but there's a lot more to it than just that. So I can see how some people, like some people when they get for practicum, like they get an on-air shift and they sound a little like they're nervous. It's like I don't expect everyone to be, really into public speaking. We all have our different strengths and stuff in this, and I think that's why we've heard them talk, the teachers and the professors, about the program maybe getting a new name somewhere down the line, because it is more than just radio. It's an entertainment program. We're learning like pretty much every facet of that industry on a basic level. So yeah, I think that I hope they rename it. I hope they give it, because I think even it might de-incentivize some people from joining it, just because if you're not into the very specific, like when you think of radio, you think of going on air, talking, that kind of thing, and the fact that it's so much more really should be, I think, a priority in the marketing, which they're not doing right now. So yeah, I think they should change it.
Yeah, well, I mean, as the instructors and everyone said too, right? Like, you're not really, this isn't the radio like they learned back in the 90s and
Exactly,
stuff like that, where all you learned was being behind a mic, right? Like nowadays, it's learning how to use a photograph, a camera, a video camera, right? Different types of video cameras, then how to take, either pictures or video, and how to start putting it onto Premiere Pro and start, making videos depending on what the topic is and stuff like that you're given for that. And, and then using Audition to do all the audio interviews and stuff that we have to do for just audio. And like, yeah, there's a lot to it. And I wish, but again, it's also what happens when you have 7 classes a term, and then in your second term, you have a practicum, and then your fourth term, you have a practicum, where that's a lot of stuff to learn and things like that. Right. And it, it makes it hard for some people with prioritizing, like, okay, what am I going to put more priority in? And a lot of people, it's playing video games or watching movies, or, hey, I'm in, post-secondary, and I'm going to go party and drink and stuff and get those experiences. And you can do that if you're really switched on and you get all your projects done early, right? So I always volunteer to be first for every project, right?
Oh, exactly.
It means I have to get everything done right away. I'm the first one to present, but then it means if we're broken into 2 groups to present for 2 different weeks, it gave me that second week to go, hey, this is when I can watch a movie with my gal, and this is when I could just take a little bit of break. Because I worked hard, I earned it, I gave myself that break, and I don't have, there's literally no worry, because I'm like, I'm done those things. This is a little bit of a cheat week for me. Yes. Right. And I think if more people took that approach, then I'm going to fuck around for the first 7 days. And then on the 8th day, I'm going to move and try and do something with it.
Yeah. I still don't understand how people do that. It's just like the amount of extra superfluous, I can't, that's a stupid word. The amount of extra stress that you put on yourself for no reason, for the momentary satisfaction of like, well, yeah, I want to play a video game. It's like, is it worth it though? I know. I think a lot of people, it's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking about the now and not really preparing for what's coming. But, I think as we mature and stuff, and a lot of people in kind of my age demographic, as we go through this experience of post-secondary for the first time, you got to learn to adapt pretty quick. And like, yeah, as we were saying earlier too, it's like, you can't, after the first semester, if you're not willing to kind of, I guess as they say, lock in at this point, it's like, you're doomed. Like you're not going to make it. You're not going to do well, and you're not going to be the person that companies are coming to offer, an internship to or something. Like you have to make yourself the exception. You have to be special, and that only comes through hard work. You're not going to be able to you're going to have to sacrifice some stuff in the short term, and that's that. That's just how it happens. So it's weird that some people seem to be surprised by that in post secondary. It's kind of seems like it's kind of seems obvious to me, but I don't know. I don't know how people think.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're kind of hitting it right on the head there with everything. And it's people not used to taking responsibility, having to finally take responsibility. And for some people, there's a little bit of a struggle, and then they catch it right away. For some people, they just switch on right away and go, okay, this is real now. This isn't high school where, the teacher's going to chase me forever. Like, for every day it's missed, it's what, 25% or whatever. And basically after 4 days, it's done.
Oh,
Being
exactly.
a
Yeah.
0% project, like, it pays to get everything going early. And then it's kind of stressful enough for some parts, like I said, with getting interviews, but I don't know why people want to make it more stressful.
Yeah. And obviously they don't want to make it stressful, but it's just it is like, yeah, like you said, like the coddling and like high school is such a different world. And a lot of people in this program, like, I didn't come straight out of high school into it, but there are people that did, and like taking a gap year or two, like you're still in that mindset because that's all you know. So once you get back into it, I think for most people, my prediction is that the shock to the system that is the first year hopefully jolts something in their brain awake and tells them that you need to just like either get out or do well or do as best you can. And I hope people don't drop out. I hope that like I think we're like the group that we had is great and everyone's got their own skills and their own things they bring to the table. But yeah, I think for the people that aren't as dedicated to it as some others, you know, not that you need to like your entire life needs to revolve around this entirely, but yeah, you're paying a decent sum to be there and it's your future. If this is the path you want to pursue, you're going to have to do the work, and it's just that simple, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, and especially since when second practicum comes, it's not working at the school for the radio or writing stories and stuff like that. Like you have to find a company that in fourth term you specialize either being on air, production, or storytelling, and now you have to find a job within that industry. I know for the second years that just graduated this summer, I mean, for some of them, they waited, and then it's like, oh shit, I have like a week left to find a company. And I mean, some of them did, some of them didn't, and then they had to, work for the school. But yeah, it gets hard. And if you don't try and put in that effort early, you're just going to hurt yourself. Like there was so many stressing about like, no business got back to me yet. It's like, well, yeah, because other students have already reached out to some of these companies, depending on if they're interested in that as well. So you gotta kind of be early to kind of figure out what you want to do. Like, I mean, I love on air. That's fun. Like, being being the DJ on the station was awesome. And then like I hate writing. I won't do storytelling because I can't write for
me neither. I like storytelling, but it's like, especially this like past semester, I'm like, I don't know. There's something that's just more alluring about speaking and stuff like that than the writing part. Writing for me feels like something I could do as a hobby. Like I used to write for the what was it? The Cascade. So it was the UFV paper, the school paper, and that was fun. But after a while, I'm like, I'm relying on other people to check my work, and then I have to keep going. Like I don't know. It just wasn't it wasn't what I imagined it would be. So I think now I'm thinking like probably for practicum in the fourth semester, I think I'm going to be going with the kind of the presentation part, the on air part. So yeah, I think that's my perspective shifted a little bit, but I'm happy with that so far, and hopefully nothing in the next few semesters persuade me out of doing that because I'm having fun with it right now. So
yeah, it's for me, it's leaning either towards production or on air. Like I didn't think it would be production. And then just how Dan teaches the video editing and just how we kind of get along as a student and instructor. I mean, I just love trying to ask him more questions. He'd be like, yeah, let's do this, push this, here, let's really kind of, push what you can do for a project. And I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I'm not sure yet. I mean, who knows? We still got a little bit, but
exactly.
once you start. And again, it's not because I don't know because whatever. It's like because I love both so much that it's like, okay, which one do I want to lean more towards and stuff like that. So, yeah. But so what we did is we picked two stories and of topics and stuff that we're going to tell each other. And Noah's going to go first. So Noah, what is the first topic?
This is kind of a weird one. I had some like in my head that I wanted to talk about, but I thought just as we were recording about a story that is, it's something I don't tell people very often. I think it's pretty cool. because so in a month, about a month, I'm going to Hawaii for a few weeks, which the whole thing with the states right now in Canada, it's a bit of a controversial thing with whether or not you should go. I'm not really like my parents want me to come, so I'm like I can't say no. But that's not the story. So I remember I don't know if you remember this back in like I think it was 2016 in Hawaii there was a ballistic missile warning. So it was a warning back in 2016 and I was there. I was there when that happened. I know a lot of people know about that story because Jim Carrey, he has a house in Maui. He talks about it sometimes and how he's like, thinking, like, wow, this is the end, isn't it? And for me, it was, I don't know how old I was. I must have been like maybe like 12 or 13, something like that. But I remember like it was so strange because we were sitting at a restaurant in the morning and just eating breakfast. It was a little Mexican restaurant in I think it was Kihei in Maui, on the island of Maui. And across all the TVs and everything and our phones, we got this message, and it was like urgent ballistic missile incoming for the island of Hawaii, not a drill. And everyone kind of thought this was at the height of the Trump North Korea tensions during that time, and everyone was obviously freaking out. And I remember even as a little kid, I know this sounds fake, like as a kid, I remember being kind of stoic about it because I just kind of thought about it for a second. Everyone's panicking. I'm like, well, I guess okay. There's worse places to die than Hawaii, and it was, what are you gonna do about it? Like there's what am I gonna like run for the hills? Nothing. If there's a ballistic missile headed for Hawaii, everyone's smoked. No one's getting out of that. So I know, yeah, and it sounds kind of unbelievable to think like, oh, as a kid, you're thinking like, oh wow, like that's like so introspective. But I no, I genuinely that's the only near death experience I've ever had, near death experience. But I really did like, I was, you know, what are you gonna do about it? And of course, it ended up not being a real threat. I don't know how someone I guess you just I don't know how you press the wrong button for that kind of thing. I'd like the I don't know the warning system guys in the states that do that because you'd think there'd be like some procedure, something that prevents some guy from just accidentally pressing a button and releasing a statewide emergency alert for a ballistic missile. But I think if anything, that experience kind of taught me. I think everyone has that experience in their life where you kind of realize how precious life is and that it can really just end in just a second. For some people, it might be a, car crash or something like that. Mine just happens to be a bit more of an extreme one. But I feel, in a weird way, I feel privileged for being there for such an odd event. It's not something that's going to be, in the history books forever as a massive, turning point in society and whatnot. But it's fun to say like, I was there, and I hope that kind of thing doesn't happen for real when I go to Hawaii in a month. It won't. But yeah, that's probably the most unique experience I've had, I think. I can't think of anything else that comes close to that's a good like conversation starter, I think. So, yeah, that's my first one.
It really is. I mean, you're 12. You don't quite you don't understand geopolitics. I mean,
Exactly.
you're not kind of understanding. You're just, oh, this guy, that guy, they're bickering on social media about who can blow up who, and then all of a sudden you're in paradise, you're enjoying birds and the nature and everything there, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, we're gonna get blown to ash.
Yeah. And
Look at that bird. That's pretty beautiful.
Plus,
we're gonna die, but this is almost dying in heaven.
Even for a kid, it's like, well, once you take a second to think about it, it's like, honest to God, what am I gonna do? I don't want to spend the last like 5 minutes of my life screaming or even like looting. Like I'm like, okay, I'll eat my like breakfast burrito and just look out at the ocean before I get like atomized. So I again, and it sounds like that's made up to me. Like when I say that, like as a kid, I was very like nonchalant about it, I guess. But it's I don't know. It's just the way it happened, and that's it's not. That's just how I reacted. I can't really explain it beyond that.
Well, I mean, exactly, right? It's different being 12 as opposed to your 30 or whatever, where you kind of have a different little mindset of something and then you go,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, we're fucked.
yeah, exactly.
Or whatever, most people, or even as like adults, most were probably checking other feeds, verifying, looking at it. We're like,
Yeah, I
as
was
a
just
12-year-old, you're not, hey, let me check out, what Twitter, if that would even existed then at that name and that time. And, all these other little ones go, hey, let's see what the feeds are going. Because even back then, most people probably be in a panic. It's all over. Just like social media where people just spin a tail and it goes all around the world. And you're
oh
like,
exactly yeah
wow, that's interesting.
yeah
All right. So I've got a little bit of different one. Over summer, I've been doing a lot of reading and stuff like that, and started kind of getting a little bit of some pirate tales, a little bit of Western. Paranormal's not always my thing, but I've been kind of wanting to do this show, so kind of reaching out to different ones. Now, the first one I have is a pirate tale. Now, you better hold your doubloons because this guy is pretty good. So we're going to be talking about the pirate king who vanished. Now, he's the most successful guy you probably never heard of, and his name was Henry Every or Avery, depending on, some of the tales, stuff like that. He might have gone by both names. Also known as the Pirate King, also known as the guy who pulled off the heist of the century and then straight up vanished like your socks in the dryer. So Henry was born in Devon, England in 1659. He started out in the Royal Navy, aka the most aggressive taxi, and ended up in the slave trade before deciding piracy was a more honest career path. In 1694, Henry mutinied and took over the ship called Charles II. He renamed it Fancy because nothing says pirate success like a makeover. And then fast forward a year, and he and crew teamed up with some other pirates and took down the Ganji Sawa, a treasure ship from the Mughal Empire carrying millions of golds and jewels. And it wasn't just a robbery, it was a hostile takeover of like a Fort Knox kind of thing, right? Like this was big. It made the Mughal emperor furious, and Britain nearly got kicked out of India because of it. All right. Like this caused a diplomatic crisis so intense, the British Empire actually apologized. And then, all right. Then after this mega heist, Henry vanished. Nobody knows where he went. Some say he retired on a beach with his loot. Others say he died broke. Henry Every is proof that if you're bold enough, smart enough, and just the right amount of sneaky, you can go down in history without anybody ever knowing where he ended up. Right? Like it's kind of a crazy thing, right? So what do you think? Did he get away? Did his ship crash? Did he have somebody mutiny against him? Did he die? What do you think happened?
I mean, part of me kind of hopes something dramatic happened, in line with a lot of pirate fiction. I mean, obviously at that time it's hard to, records are sparse and you're not going to really know. You know, it's kind of hard to root for someone that is probably not the greatest person, but I hope he lived a good long life. Maybe retired on a beach. I think would be nice. I think we've really romanticized pirates in our culture, and again, I probably shouldn't be wishing the best for someone like that, but there's something so interesting about that era in history and that I don't know if culture is the right word, but that environment and that God, it would be kind of cool, and maybe one day we'll find out what happened to him. I know didn't they find the Blackbeard's ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge? Isn't that like buried somewhere or like sunk off of like South Carolina? I'm like 99% sure that's a thing. Like
I
it's
specifically haven't really looked up Blackbeard yet because he's so known. I want to try
yeah,
and find a few of these
the smaller
unknown
ones.
kind of
Yeah,
ones first, because everyone's heard kind of the name Blackbeard. They might
yeah.
not know his real name or anything about it,
I
but
didn't I
he's
didn't know he
there.
was
So
real until I was an adult. I always thought he was just like a character, like in like
Disney, yeah,
yeah,
Disney did a couple of movies in him.
yeah, that one Parts of the Caribbean movie that was after the rest of them that like no one remembers with Blackbeard. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm 99% sure that they found his ship in
You might
like
be right. Well, I'm gonna keep looking up again. There's so many cool little
yeah.
topics that's
Oh
what
yeah,
this show
absolutely.
is about. It's just, hey, I found this weird, stupid tidbit. Did you know about this guy and what he did? Like, there's a couple of crazy ones, but sometimes reading up on some pirates, and they weren't pirates for long. Like someone like 2 years, either they were successful and got the hell out of Dodge before the law came and changed their name. And like, nah, I've never been that. I'm just a plantation owner that loves bananas. Right.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
they
Yeah.
die horrible deaths, just beheaded, and the Brits or whatever empire, putting their head on some pike or some little
Yeah.
whatever warning thing in front of a port, like, hey, pirates, fuck off.
Yeah, it is so weird how like, as a kid, like I remember playing in my backyard with like a pirate hat and a sword with my buddy, but like the things that you'd have to like go through as a pirate, like some of the ways they find to like kill and torture people, like tying your intestines around like the front of a boat and then throwing you over and letting the barnacles underneath the ship like shred you to pieces. It's like that wasn't in Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like
No,
it's
yeah, there's one
it's
dude, I'm gonna save up on him, but he was fucking vicious, just known as like less known as a pirate as than just a torturer on a boat. Like
yeah,
if he
exactly.
caught you, he was sadistic. Like some of his things are just crazy what he did. And I mean, it was for the lot of them. I mean, we all like to think, oh yeah, Johnny Depp, they were all just being,
Yeah,
hey, I'm,
yo ho, pirates. Like,
and then
yeah,
it's like, hey, let's blow that boat up, kill everyone on board, take the ship because it looks nice, fancy and stuff. And then, hey, we're a bigger little pirate army.
yeah. I'm kind of surprised, honestly. I don't know much about like pirate media. I know like Treasure Island and then like the Pirates of the Caribbean rides, but has there been like I'm trying to think of like an R-rated or like some kind of more adult pirate like drama, like a film that's about that age, like kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean, but a little more true to life, maybe. Because I feel like if that isn't a thing, it's like a weird kind of gap in the Hollywood like zeitgeist. It has to be a thing. There has to be like a pirate like movie series about like what it actually was like to be a pirate. I at least I hope that's that's something I hope that's something that exists. I'd like to check that out.
I don't think you're getting a Hollywood movie based off that, just because if
It's
the
not as
leading man
marketable.
isn't sexy and stuff like that, and if
That's true.
Johnny
Yeah.
Depp was torturing people like some of these pirates, I
It would,
mean,
yeah.
Disney
It'd
would
be
not be
nasty.
like doing a second one. Yeah, you now maybe some foreign director in some
There must be
foreign
something
country
like yeah.
has done like a real gritty pirate thing where almost like Master and Commander, but instead of from the Brit
Yeah.
honorable captain kind of side, it's just from some ruthless
Something
scumbag.
like 1917, but it's like pirates, like a historical like melodrama, like not really melodrama, like a historical drama that has to exist somewhere. I can't. I didn't think of that idea. There's no way I did. No way.
No, there's got to be, but I mean it,
Nothing mainstream.
or it's something from the 60s or 70s that it's
Yeah.
like just crazy. Like some director was like, "We're gonna do this in the middle of a jungle, middle of nowhere," and the crew wants to actually do a mutiny against him
Yeah.
for
Exactly.
production. Yeah. Now, all right, you're a pirate in that era. What name are you going by, and what is your flag gonna be?
Oh. Let me think. I feel like I've done this before on like one of those like little online charts that's like your first letter of your name, and the last letter is like your pirate forms your pirate name. I don't know. Let's see. Is it bad if I just like what if I just wanted to be like Davy Jones? Because Davy Jones, was he a real pirate? I don't think so. What if I want to be named after Davy Jones from the Monkees? Could I just use that as my pirate name? What if I'm just Davy Jones from the Monkees?
take over somebody else's name and then get tried for his crimes. Like, I've never been to the Caribbean yet, buds. Like, I literally just picked the name. I haven't even, like, I've got her sewing a flag. Like,
exactly. What if, I think my flag would be the Monkees logo, just like, I would just be, because I can't, Davy Jones, like, there's a guy in the Monkees, the band, named Davy Jones, which is, I don't know why that's, like, really funny. It just is.
But I guess like Davy Jones locker. I mean, there's gotta
like
be something. I know, like as a kid, I probably heard something and then I've washed it away and then I'll look it up. You know what? That's going to be something I'm going to look up later. See if there's a story to it.
Yeah, I doubt that Davy Jones of the Monkees was named after, the pirate lore, but God, that'd be kind of cool if he was. I don't know why I'm suddenly thinking about the Monkees. It's just entered my mind. But yeah, I would Davy Jones, I don't think it's technically taken by a real pirate. And it's kind of a kick-ass pirate name, So I think I'd parrot off the success of the Davy Jones locker folklore and just take it for myself, Why not?
Steal credit. Yeah, well, I mean, just like in the modern era, right? People will steal people's content, repost it, and put all the ads. Like, yeah,
And this is like less nefarious from my point of view. It's like there's not a real Davy Jones, I don't think. So it's like, oh, I'm not hurting anyone, So.
Well, you're going to be a pirate, so you might be.
Okay, I might be hurting. Yeah, okay, man, I misspoke there, but I'm not infringing on any copyright, so that's or any. I
don't think we're worried about that then. So technically you could be, and he's not going to be like, hey, stop or I'm going to take you to the court. He'll probably just blow your ship up if you had a bigger crew and more of that. All right. What do you name your ship then?
Oh, I'd come up with a different name than I don't even know what his ship's name is in like the movies and stuff, so I wouldn't be able to use that.
Black Pearl or something, right?
The Black Pearl's is Johnny Depp's ship. I think it's like, it's the Flying Dutchman. That's Davy Jones' ship. What would I do? Like maybe I'd name it like a monster truck, like the Skull Crusher or some weird shit like that. I can't think of like a good like piratey name. Gravedigger. Just take the monster truck name.
Perfect. They're not going to know about it. You're transporting back in time.
Exactly. In the historical context, Gravedigger. That's a good pirate ship name. That's a solid pirate ship name. Yeah, I would go with that. I would just steal another thing. At least I'm open about it. I'm not pretending I'm not a soulless hack just stealing things.
I would probably steal like something Warhammer 40K too. I wouldn't be original. I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to name this after this.
Exactly.
God Emperor.
It's homage, it's paying tribute, it doesn't have to be just stealing. So.
All right. What's your next one?
All right. This is kind of a collection of smaller short stories. Because you said you're getting more into paranormal stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like I said in the class there, that one story of that weird paranormal thing in the military and stuff like that weird kind of event. But otherwise, it's like, that's what the girlfriend, like she loves those kind of things. She'll put on all those. It's not my thing. Like my brain is a little too much on certain spectrums where I just see through all those things. I'm like, no, that's, oh my God, did you hear that? Yeah, no, that was somebody over in the corner there, right? Like, you get through some of the shows or you start looking at some of the people, be like, all right, let me tell you about the Squatch. All right, now.
Oh, I love Squatching.
A Squatch can transform into any animal. Most people don't understand that, okay? Now, a Squatch, to hide, can become a bullfrog. So sometimes when you're hearing a bullfrog, you're really hearing Sasquatch fooling you. And you're like, okay, whatever. Or like, the people that like, well, Bigfoot is part of a, trans-dimensional being that is part of Skinwalker Ranch, that he also plays golf with, the plasma balls that come out every once in a while. And also the skinless dire wolves, they're kind of trans-dimensional, but they're also from another planet. And they came here with the Greys. You start hearing some of these things. You're like, oh my God, you either need medication or you got to up it because
that kind of,
you're trying to connect too many dots that don't exist. And you're like,
exactly.
Bigfoot's working with the Illuminati. And you're like,
it's the whole thing for me. Like, so you don't believe in any of this stuff is what do you believe in ghosts? stuff.
I do believe, like, ghosts, other energy, right? Like, especially certain old buildings, right? Like, we're energy, maybe, there's a connection to it somehow. Like, I'm not going to discount everything. Like, I don't know everything, but there's always could be something, right? Just like with aliens, right? Big universe,
Aliens,
there's
I think,
probably
yeah,
something out there.
that I can think I can get behind.
We only see in certain spectrums. Maybe if we could see certain things, we'd see aliens, tourists being like, don't worry, just don't touch them. Don't. And then somebody like, oh my God, something touched me. And it's like, some aliens getting yelled at because we said don't go near them. They can't see us, but they can feel, right? Like it could be anything, right? Now, do some of these theories go way out there where you're like, okay, yeah, I kind of believe some of this bit here, but then you went way off in this bit. So, I keep an open mind to some of this stuff, but there's a lot of schizophrenia and other mental illnesses out there that the internet has just made it so much easier for them to be big channels on the internet. But I mean, it's fun to stuff like that. But I mean, there's still a bit of a logic line too, where you look at the person and you look at what the event was maybe and stuff like, do you want to have fun with it? Yeah. But am I really believing in all the stories and, that Bigfoot's a transdimensional being as opposed to like just maybe Gigantopithecus, right? Like, you got to be a little bit smart with your being open to these things. Cause for me, crazy everywhere.
I'm kind of the opposite. I've been with like ghosts and stuff and like, I think it's cryptids, like, like Bigfoot law. I'm like, there's no ghosts. There's no such thing as a ghost. To me, I'm very empirical and I look at everything through like a scientific lens. Mm-hmm. And people, they always come back and say like, well, you can't see oxygen. You can't see, it's like, well, yeah, but we can observe other things that prove to us that oxygen exists. For me, a ghost is like, to me, it's just like, there's no such thing. There's never been any actual provable scientific evidence of anything. And where I'm going with this is that I've been to a number of places, a few that are apparently some of the most haunted in North America. So I've been to the Fairmont Empress, which is the hotel in Victoria Harbor. Apparently this is like this really haunted, there's a bunch of ghosts. There's the architect of the building apparently walks around and people have seen this employee who apparently took his own life in one of the towers of the hotel. An old lady comes around knocking on people's doors. And I'm like, I was there. I stayed there for like 3 days. Nothing. Not a single thing. Somebody, and when you get in that place, like I was with my family, and some of my family, it's like you hear like a noise in the wall. And it's like, oh, must be a ghost. It's like, no, it's not. No, for me, it's like, no. And the sixth floor of the building is apparently like, I believe it's the sixth floor. It's the sixth or the eighth is like the most haunted. Like, I walked around for like an hour. Nothing happened. I don't get it. And it's, and then I went again. I went to the Queen Mary in Long Beach in California. That is apparently it's one of the most haunted ships in the world. And they take you, I went on a ghost tour. There's nothing. People, the way they do these kind of things especially with these like haunted tours, they just take you into a dimly lit room and then, they're like, everyone be quiet. And then you hear like a creaking sound and it's like, oh, it's a ghost. It's like, no.
A mouse farts and they want to call in the paranormal investigators.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sensing a lot of dark energy. It's like, what the hell's dark energy? It's just a bunch of like drivel. And they took us to like, apparently there's a room on the Queen Mary it's room B340, I think. And you can stay in this room, but apparently people, they leave the room in the middle of their stay because things are shaking around and, things are falling off the shelves and they see ghosts. And I'm like, so if all of this is true, no one once ever thought, oh my God, there's a ghost right there or things are falling off the shelf. I'm going to take out my camera. Never once does anyone like leave the room and get someone and they bring them back and there's shit everywhere. To me, it's like, I don't get the ghost stories like that. How people can say you're like narrow-minded for not believing in like ghost stories like that. I'm like, well, like where is the what am I supposed to believe in? You know, it's the same with like Bigfoot. It's like you like I'm sorry. There's no way in my mind that there is an 8 foot tall ape man walking around the contiguous United States and we found nothing. There's no hair. There's no feces. There's no blood. There's like nothing. I'm like, I don't know. To me, all of this stuff, it's like it's so fascinating seeing how I feel like I'm talking down on people that believe in like the paranormal and stuff like that because it's like a coping mechanism for a lot of people. You know, your a family member passes away and then the lamp in the kitchen starts flickering. It's like, "Oh, that must be them saying hi." But for me, as mean-spirited as it is, I'm like, so if the ghost can manipulate things, it doesn't just take a pen and write like, "Hey man, what's going on?" Or like Morse code the lights, like blink them in a certain way.
I buried money under the floorboards. Dig it up. Get yourself help.
Exactly. It's like, to me, where is just the tiniest bit of anything for me would do. And that's to me, the more fascinating part of all like cryptozoology and the paranormal is not the actual like ghost stories. It's the people themselves that do it, like the Squatch hunting people, like we talked about earlier. It's like, guys, come on. Like there's some of the shows on like the History Channel, which I don't even know how they can call it the History Channel at this point anymore, or like Animal Planet. And it's like they're just a bunch of rednecks running around in the dark with like a night vision like camera, and they're just recording nothing. And there's like a sound in the distance, and that's the whole episode. I don't know how you can get through those shows. Like I wouldn't be able to sit through one of those shows because the reward, the whole premise of the show is never going to happen. It's never going to end with the guys finding Bigfoot, you know? I remember one show that it was like I think it was like a Netflix documentary, and it was supposed to be like a more scientific and researched approach to the Bigfoot and Yeti and stuff like that. And eventually they found some hairs or something, and they did DNA testing and stuff, and it turned out to just be like they got the information wrong from the DNA test. It was just like a black bear. But I'm like, okay, there we go. That seals it. Like the Bigfoot hunter people, they finally found something, and it's a bear. It's just a bear. I don't get how there's so many of those shows. There's like 30 of them.
See, and I think there's two problems with it, right? Like you can have again, those tourist spots where they're trying to sell, hey, we're haunted, we're this, we're that, whatever. There's that. But then you have places where they're just battlefields, right? Where like thousands died in horrible conditions, or like insane asylums where just bad energy forever and people dying just in those agony or things like that. So I think there's a like little bit differences of like, we're again, right? Like I'm kind of open to the stuff, but I'm not like, yes, there are, and there's pictures. Because for every picture, you'd be like, well, that's kind of weird, or that could have been a video or picture effect, or somebody really good at staging stuff. I mean, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle believed in fairies and stuff like that, right? Wrote Sherlock Holmes and everything, but believed in fairies and believed a picture where somebody just had cardboard cutouts and, you know, so, you know, I mean, people have been shucksters forever, right? Trying to sell, you know, snake oil. So I think, you know, certain locations where they're trying to sell something and, hey, stay here while you eat or while you sleep. That's one thing. But I think like, you know, if you were to go to like some old battlefield, right?
Like Gettysburg
or any of those places, and just really kind of feel, I mean, and again, I don't know if it's so much ghosts as something you see as more just feels or feelings or something like that. Like just the energy of like,
the atmosphere.
Man, I just feel horrible here in these things, as opposed to like you're like, I got a good night's sleep. Like these beds are fucking comfortable. Like, man, there's no traffic on this side of the building. The bed is great. Like these sheets, the thread count, like, you know, like sometimes your story's more of like, yeah, this was great, as opposed to like, and then I got grabbed and I jumped, right? And, you know, like you're like, there's nobody in the room. Something grabbed my ankle from under the bed and pulled me. And you'd be like, that was it. As opposed to like, Oh, there's something, and there's been stories too proving how like some of those hotels and places they'll
They
put
use these
meters
tricks.
there, so like, oh, it
Exactly. Yeah.
looks all electric here. Oh, there's no wiring here though. This is a or sound speakers, this that flex. You do something and whatever moves. I mean, so for me, it's more of certain times when you go to certain places and you just like, God, ooh,
They do have like the atmosphere, like even on the Queen Mary or somewhere like that, where it's an old kind of derelict ship that's out of time completely. It's eerie just by nature. And that kind of it makes it so much easier to just make ghost stories and stuff about it, and it makes it so much more believable because when you're there, regardless of whether or not you see like a lamp fall off a table, it's something in your brain is telling you there's something just not right here. This place is triggering something in my mind that's telling me it's not safe, it's not comfortable. And yeah, so such a bizarre thing.
had a time like that in the military. We were out in New Brunswick, and I was part of an enemy force unit, stuff like that. We go all over, and we were going out there, and there was a course on training. We were for their final X, and one of the locations we had to go to was this creepy old farmhouse in the middle of fucking nowhere. And it's such an old place that the outhouse was still outside, right? Like that's the kind of place it was. There's no bathroom in this house. And we go in there and there's creepy dolls everywhere. Like the person died there and the family took whatever else and just abandoned the property, right? Like everything was overgrown, like the outhouse, there was grass all growing up from it and everything. And just full of everything. Like it was so just weird old stuff, but like the dolls, they were just those creepy fucking old dolls that were probably a couple hundred years old.
Yeah, those things.
And this place was so like it's like everyone, like one of the sergeants was a sniper. He was a French guy. He's like, I am not staying in this fucking house. All right. I am staying in the van and I'm going to watch stuff in there until we have to do stuff. And then everyone else was like, yeah, fuck no, fuck no. Like the place was creepy as all things. And then we set up, because we're like, fuck it, we're not going in there. So we brought like portable walls to make like a little kill house and stuff like that. Built that outside. And also we just didn't trust the inside. Like it was so old and weird and creaky.
Yeah,
as we were going through it. We're like,
fall apart on you.
We're going to fall apart or some hantavirus from fucking rat shit or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was like, I don't know, 10 of us in this cube van, all just crammed in there. It was pouring rain. It was absolutely just miserable in between stuff. And we were just sitting. We had like a little DVD player up front, and every so often we'd send guys out to go do, a patrol because we had guys watching us and stuff like that and, make some activity. But yeah, that house was just the juju that came off. That place was just no go at all. Nobody wanted to go near it. And then we just let them know, like, that's the creepy ghost house. It's off limits, like it doesn't exist. So just we're not even going near that. Like it was just, it was a place. It was just your typical creepy one that everyone was just like, oh, look at this doll. No, look at this one. Look at this object. And, like some of the old ancient pictures too of just, everyone's just looking angry and mean. And like, I've just watched 12 family members die this year. Like just, it was one of those old farmhouses, but it was just, it was still in some condition, like, but maybe abandoned within the last like 5 years or something.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely the energy adds to that kind of stuff and makes it more believable.
And it must have just been, I don't know if the military bought the land you used or if it was just, I don't know, whatever. We were told we could go there and nobody wanted to go in that house. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. So, Australia, beautiful country. It just looks like one of those paradises until you realize that they have everything poisonous there, whether it's snakes, spiders, if it's in the water, probably in the air. And some of the creatures are in people's backyards, right?
Oh, yeah.
So this one is the island taipan. Have you ever heard of the island taipan?
It's a snake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm familiar with it at a glance,
All right. So this snake is so venomous that it could kill a small army. Now, I'm not going to try and say its scientific name because it's like I'm trying to do a Harry Potter spell, but it's native to remote areas of the deserts of Australia. And it holds the Guinness record for the most toxic snake venom. One bite. Guess how many people do you think could be killed by one bite?
I'm wondering if I should do a more conservative guess or just go wild. I'm gonna say like I'm gonna sound either really stupid or really smart. 75. I'm gonna say 75.
You're close. That is,
Okay.
it's 100, or
Jeez.
like 250,000 mice was one of the other numbers they had there for it. Yeah. Yeah. Like imagine that, right? Like,
Oh, good God.
but it's shy. It's an introvert, lives in the middle of nowhere and avoids people. So you don't really have to worry about it. But like I said, like, like the number 3 snake or whatever's in your garage, the number 1 spider, like some of these ones, it's just like, oh
I've
man,
always,
like,
yeah, Australia, it seems.
but it must be why, like, they seem to have just such a cool kind of lifestyle with it, right? Like, it's like, boy, mate, everything can fucking kill you. So just enjoy, right? Like,
Well, exactly. Like, again, you can't, like, if you live in Australia, like, what's the point in worrying every single day? Like, you can't, you know?
one of my favorite videos that came off out of Australia was a couple of news anchors, and they were watching this video of this giant ass, like great white, just breach out of the water and then splash down. And the look on, like, I don't know if he was like the weather guy or whatever, but he was standing, and then there was, I think the lady was sitting at the desk, and both their faces were just like, I am never going in the water again. Like, it was just crazy. Like,
I know.
like it's just everything. Like, it's so beautiful, but you can't just relax in the water because you got sharks, jellyfish, everything
Yeah.
else on land. Like, you can't just lay in the grass. It's just like, we take it for granted here. Like, I'm just gonna lay in the grass here. Oh, look at
Yeah,
the
exactly.
clouds.
What do
It
we have,
looks like
garter
this
snakes?
and
Yeah.
that. And then you're like, oh, look at just a red ant or a black ant. You're like, oh, red ants might bite and suck, but whatever. But you're not like, I need to get an anti-venom because I am going to die, or this part of my limb is going to go gangrenous and fall off, or
Yeah.
something horrible is going to happen to me. Like, yeah, I don't know. There's just something. I mean, I'd love to go there and,
I'd like to see it too, but yeah.
talk to like their military and stuff like that, hang out, check out, probably go to those real shitty areas where all those training areas are, because that's what the military does. Buy the worst areas, train out there. But I think that would be just an awesome place to go to, just for their culture and just how they are. Just, I mean, the views, and again, just some of their vets and military people, and just have fun and see what kind of units and stuff I can talk with and shoot some of their guns or whatnot and have fun.
I feel like I'd just stay in like Sydney or somewhere. Like I'd say like somewhere that's just close to everything. And like I as a kid I used to love like looking into animals a lot. So like Australia, it's one of those places every reference book is like they've got have you heard of the bull shark?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a special bladder that filters out salt because most sharks can only survive in fresh water for select amounts of time. Bull sharks have a special bladder that allows them to filter out the fresh water and stuff like that. And so they've been like in Australia, they're everywhere. You can find them even like they've found them up the Mississippi, in the Nile, in the Amazon rainforest.
Well, I was going to say, weren't those sharks that like came up like the St. Lawrence or like some of those American ones? And people are like, why are sharks attacking in fresh water?
Exactly. Well, there was I think it was 1916, I think it was in New Jersey. There was a few shark attacks within a couple weeks at some beaches in Jersey. And then I think it was Matawan Creek, a place just like 6 miles inland or something like that. And yeah, a shark. I think it killed a kid. Like and it's like they caught a shark after it, but I think it was a juvenile great white, and great whites can't survive. Like they don't survive in fresh water. They can't for extended periods of time. So it's probably like more than likely maybe not more than likely, but it's likely that it was multiple sharks just at the same time, and just by happenstance, or maybe there was something in the water. I don't know, that a bull shark maybe was inland, and then a great white was out in the ocean, just attacking and killing people. And that's kind of that hysteria and stuff that inspired Jaws, like the novel and then the film, which is 50 this year, which is crazy. Just turned 50.
Yeah, I saw that on, I don't know, one of those feeds I follow every now and then. They talk like greatest movies or whatever, and they'll be like, on this day, whatever, this movie came out and stuff.
Yeah.
But also, just to tie up that snake there, back in the 1950s, they did create an anti-venom for it. So
nice.
It's not like Australia has all these dangerous things. They're like, no, fuck, we don't do nothing about it. Like, they're gonna actually start trying to like do anti-venoms and stuff like that. And, I'm gonna keep doing a horrible Australian accent every now and then, because you just throw out those little bits.
I know you have to if you live in a place like that. Even like I could talk about this for ages, but all the stupid, weird animals they have there, like the blue-ringed octopus, the little octopus fit in palm of your hand. I think it's the most venomous octopus. Definitely, like cephalopod.
Yeah, one of those ones up there. I mean, they're all competing just like hot sauces and chili pepper contest of which one's going to be I'm going to evolve more to go do this. And I mean, the other thing though too, especially like, water snakes and stuff like that, like their venoms are even more venomous because they got to try and take out a fish and they can't.
Exactly.
There's a lot of precautions you got to take first, but I'm glad I would still do it.
No, I'm just, like you said, I'm glad I can like just lay in the grass. Not that I lay in the grass particularly often, or like just go swimming without like stepping on a stonefish and being like paralyzed, or like getting stung by a box jellyfish and just dying, like within minutes. Yeah, I'm thankful for,
Yeah, nature sometimes has a way of just humbling you. I mean, like, around us, like there's like grizzly bears and stuff like that are getting a little more. So we have our dangerous creatures too, and black bears certain times if they've got predatory instincts, and cougars. Like, I mean, wolves, coyotes. I mean, there's a lot of shit here that'll jack you too, now that I think about it. So, okay. Would you want to deal with Australia's creatures? And they seem like, your bugs, your snakes, your stuff like that. Or do you want to start dealing with like North America's like bigger predators and stuff like that?
Absolutely North America. With Australia, it's like the kind of fear in the back of your mind that I could just be like sitting in my bedroom and there's like a huntsman spider, like this thing the size of like a plate, just crawling up towards me. That's like Lovecraftian hell. I'd rather just like, if I see a bear, just go inside, than the animal like being small enough to wiggle its way in without me noticing. There's absolutely, I've never run into, I've seen plenty of black bears and stuff around here and stuff like that, but I'd rather just, deal with that than ever have anything in my like personal area that's gonna like, I don't know, stab its teeth into me when I'm sleeping. So yeah, 1,000,000%. I'm perfectly fine here. Perfectly fine.
Now, do you naturally have a bit of a bug phobia, like anything small like that? Or
nope. Like, I work outside and stuff, so I deal with like, deal with spiders and stuff. Sometimes I don't know if this is like gross, but sometimes I keep like if I find like a spider in the corner of the room, I'm like, okay, it's free pest control. Everything that mosquitoes and the odd moth or something, spider's just going to eat it. I'm fine with that. It's when it gets to, the venomous kind, and like, I'm not going to pretend I'm some like stoic action hero. If I saw a spider the size of my palm, I would shit myself. Like, there's no rational situation where I'd ever be okay with that. The stuff we have here, like, I could pick up a garter snake and just look at it. It's like, oh, that's cute. Like a taipan like that. I don't want to be within like 100 feet of that. So I'm more than content here.
Yeah, there's certain bug stuff like that. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever, cool. Like you said, spider in the corner. You're like, okay, what harm? And then I got to get way up there to try and kill it. So, okay, you live for a week until you try and come into the bedroom or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is something about those ones that like a bite and then you're like, well, I'm dead because that had that marking on it. And we're this far away from help. And unless we're carrying the anti-venom on us,
Yeah. I
as your blood starts thickening and everything else, like, yeah,
yeah.
there's,
I'm this is totally fine here. And like and the ocean too. Like I like spending time at the beach and we have like quite literally nothing. And we have sharks, but like a lot of the ones that we have here are either small or like deep sea. Like so you're not going to run into a great white at, White Rock Beach or in English Bay. Like it's just not going to happen. Orcas aren't like particularly, they don't often exhibit, predatory behavior towards humans. I think in the past few years there's been a couple cases of killer whales not killing people, but like ramming boats and stuff. Like getting more aggressive than we've had on record. But like I've never been to like Crescent Beach in Surrey and ever had like an orca try to come eat me while I'm swimming. So it's like I'm fine.
yeah. And I think some of those orca attacks too were because they were sailboats and they have like a deep rudder in the water. And I think the story was a baby died. So then they were kind of pissed off
Yeah,
at the boat. So I think that was the
exactly. Yeah.
story, if I remember correctly, about
They're
some of
because
those
they're
ones.
yeah, they're very intelligent. And they obviously we have those few cases where a Marineland or not Marineland, a SeaWorld employee gets, you know, drowned or bitten by an orca. But it's like, yeah, obviously that's gonna happen when you're in an animal as smart as that in a controlled environment that, doesn't allow for much space or, activity. So yeah, orcas like I'd love to. I've never actually seen an orca in the wild. I like whales quite a bit. That's one of my kind of like hobbies is marine biology. Kind of I don't do anything with it, but I have never seen an orca, so I'd love to see one in real life. I'd love to, but never been lucky enough.
Yeah, it's cool to see them in the wild. I remember being young in Vancouver Aquarium having like the killer whale that ended up
Yeah,
killing the lady and stuff. And then they had all kinds of stuff. Like it was very different in like the 80s and 90s.
even in like when I grew up, like they still had because they have a like laws now with cetaceans like whales, dolphins, porpoises about keeping them in captivity. Like I had the belugas when I was growing up. There was a false killer whale, a Pacific white-sided dolphin, like all of that stuff was there, and it was so cool to see that up close. But there's something special about seeing them in the wild. Something a little different. So whenever I go out to like on the ferry or something, my eyes are glued to the ocean, But yeah, it's something that just it brings me so much joy seeing like a whale in the wild. I get so excited. I'm like a schoolgirl. I start freaking out and I like go to the local like whale tracker. Like there's like a couple like conservation networks, and I report exactly where I saw it and what it was doing and what species I think it was. Like that kind of stuff. It's like a weird like I nerd out with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think for one of my projects, I can't remember if it was one of the writing ones we're doing like the 400 word articles a day or if it was in one of the on-air ones just as a segment. But yeah, there was some whale stuff there and I did a story and it is cool, right? Like killer whales are just fucking gangster animals, man. They
They're
are
cool.
vicious. Like everyone thinks like, oh, they're nice. It's like, nah, man, those are
They got the name for a
top
reason.
predators. Like,
Yeah.
and again, yeah, they're dolphins. They're called killer whales because they kill whales very effectively. Like it
Well,
is
exactly.
insane what they
The
can do.
pods, yeah.
And yeah, they are. You know what? Maybe that'll be an animal for the next one. There is some killer whales because yeah, they are just gangsters of the sea. Like even great white sharks, everything. Like when they start hearing their pods coming around, like everything just scatters.
Oh,
Like
exactly.
a
Yeah. Well,
mob just moved in.
they're like techniques for hunting prey. Like in Argentina, they've been recorded and seen breaching themselves to catch sea lions in and seals in the wake. So they use the pebbles on the beach to roll back into the water. In Antarctica, they've been observed creating like they line up like three or four whales or dolphins and they charge an ice floe with a seal on it and create a wave to knock the seal off. And I know they use their tail to, slap and stun stingrays so they don't get stung, and then they just rip it apart. It's absolutely incredible. It's incredible to watch some of the footage that people manage to get, especially of them hunting like large whales, like blue whales and fin whales. It's like what the like
Mhm.
it's
Big
it,
Attenborough fan here, man. Some of his shows are just like,
oh
it's
yeah.
crazy. And then what those photographers and all the video photographers do to get those shots, like,
Oh yeah.
it's unreal.
I know that sometimes the close quarters you got to get in. Like you see some of the behind the scenes footage, and they're like right beside like a hole in the ice, and there's like a killer whale pops up within like 2 feet of them. It's like, damn. Most people, I think most people would probably just like faint.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I was just watching a couple shows about like, some of the birds and how some of the birds, like the parasitic birds, right? So how like they'll lay their egg in another bird's nest
Yes,
and then
yeah,
just completely
yeah.
abandon, and how like the babies will either just peck the ever living shit out of the new ones because they'll grow just that little bit early to hatch, get that couple of meals, and then like their beak might be modified while they're just babies or whatnot, and they just that, or they're got like a sensitive spot on their back, so they'll just start like nudging the other one off or the eggs off. Like, oh yeah, it's pretty gangster. Like with the cuckoo bird, that was one I just kind of watched there and kind of
Oh, the
what they do.
kookaburra,
And then there
yeah.
was the honey snitch or something, like it's another bird
Yes, yeah,
too. And
yeah.
then it goes in the tunnel and stuff like that, and like with the nest, and it's deep and dark, so it can just massacre all the other ones, and the parents just listen to the sound, they don't see anything. And like, nature's kind of crazy how some animals will just take over another one, like whether they're wasps or whatnot, and just
Yeah.
take over a cockroach or whatever, bury it in a hole and have it eaten alive by its babies. Like, nature doesn't make it pleasant for a lot of other creatures.
Yeah.
Now, I don't remember because we shot the shit a bunch. Did you do your second topic?
Yeah, I did the was it? Yeah, the haunted stuff I just did, and like the kind of start talking like Bigfoot and shit. And the first one was the nuclear thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you had yours too. All right. Well, Noah, thank you for being on.
Much appreciated. Yeah, this has been great. It's been really fun, and I like just free form discussion like this, casual, get to talk about the stuff that no one else will ever listen to me talk about. It's fun. Thank you for having me on.
No, well, guess what? You'll be on the next one because we're doing it right after this. All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm Brian Smith. Bye-bye.